All right, we're starting. Go ahead.
Erase, are you?
No.
So the story was that my grandmother and my mother and myself went to Richmond to see my grandmother Rowe. She was married the second time after her husband, nice guy. I can remember him well, and I can remember the trip down. And she was the one at 90. She drove us all over Virginia.
Is this Meemaw?
No, Meemaw was my grandma. She was my Fox.
Okay.
Okay, but my grandmother Rowe drove us all over Virginia. We went to Williamsburg in 1938 when Williamsburg was just starting. And then every place where Grant chased Lee and Lee chased Grant. We went to Jamestown to see Yorktown, you name it. I got the real history bug from the results of being with her. And she was the one that was related to the Todds. Her maiden name was Todd. She was a real character, and I can never forget the day that they shooed me out of the house. She said, "Go out," and she went out with me and had me playing baseball with the kids in the area. And I can remember they kind of got in a squabble or something, and I was referred to as a damn Yankee. And I didn't know what a damn Yankee was.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was 8, 9. What's a damn Yankee? Inform me what a damn Yankee was. I would never forget that as long as I lived. But then I got to know some of the family relatives down there, and one of the Todds was our Aunt Lily. She was a character, and she's the one that had the two sons that were in Pearl Harbor at the time, and they were both graduates of Annapolis. And I think I've told you the story about Aunt Lily.
Now, did they survive?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, so
yeah, one of them was on the Pennsylvania, and he was in charge of the anti-aircraft and the secondary guns, cannons, or whatever you want to call them, rifles. And he was down asleep when they attacked. And he ran up, he threw on his helmet, he ran up upstairs, as the story goes, and he didn't have any clothes on.
Oh, just his helmet.
Yeah. He had his helmet on, though. But,
that's funny.
Aunt Lily was the character. She'd come up, and that's how I got to the Army-Navy games. When it rained, I got to the Army-Navy games.
Oh.
And the story about her was kind of funny. She was down at the track meet, and one of her sons was on the track team. And she was in the stands, and "Yoo-hoo, Walter, Mother sees you!" She yelled out. Of course, all the midshipmen heard this, and that rang a bell. And she was waving at her son. So Walter went through the service as a commander and then became a rear admiral. He was well up. And whenever any one of his classmates saw him any place, and "Ooh, Walter, Mother sees you," and he had to live with that for the rest of his career. But she was a character. We called her Chatterbox. She never stopped talking, and she used to come up for the Army-Navy game every year. And as I say, when it rained, I used to go and pray for the rain. That was the story from Virginia, but that was a great family evidently, and the girls moved up. They came up here. They were born up here, and he became American Stores for years. And he found out things. He did things that evidently got to the point where he was kind of asked to leave. He made a lot of money for him because he bought up all the produce that was coming up to go to the produce market and everything, was fresh. And to get it up here, and he had already bought everything up at 4 American stores, so nobody else could get it. And then they sold it at higher prices to all the others.
Why not?
And he had a nice deal going, and he made a lot of money.
But that was probably not legal.
No,
Uh,
wasn't too good. So they kind of asked him to leave.
would you
He ended
please
up-
resign?
He had made a lot of money, and he played the stock market, and that was before the crash. And later on, as I say, when my mother and father got divorced, I went to live with them, and we lived in Meeting House Lane in Winding Way. They had sold Red Rock and moved over there. And Uncle Freddie was living there with Aunt Elizabeth, and they were all there. It was kind of a nice house, and I can remember the Sunday dinners. We had a girl who cooked. She was from the South, and her name was Hortense. And she made the best fried chicken I think I've ever had. And they would come in there, and we would have everybody for dinner. And it was piles of fried chicken, and the bread, the cornbread, and things like that.
All that good southern food. Ooh,
Sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on the top.
I don't like those.
Oh, I do.
No?
They were fun days. But one thing you didn't do, you did not leave the table until after my grandfather said it was time to go. The kids sit at the table, finish their dinner.
That doesn't happen anymore.
He was funny. He was real South, and he was